Cool. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of XN Interviews. Joining me this evening, J-Ax and Rob vonShoe. Hello and welcome, fellas.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, not bad. We'll go ahead and get it started. What caught your eye about Marvel Contest of Champions, and why did you want to become a throne breaker?
Well, all right. So backing it up, I never wanted to play this game. That's my guilty secret. When it first came out, one of my really close friends was like, "Dude, you gotta check this out. They got this new Marvel game," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." Being polite, but I'm doing other stuff. I'm not interested. And then a couple weeks go by, and he's like, "Dude, you really gotta check this out because it's really fun." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's nice, cool. I'll get to it." Fast forward a couple months later, and I'm like, "All right, dude, yeah, you've been asking. I'll download it and I play it." And then as soon as I did, I was hooked. It's everything that I had ever hoped for certainly in a mobile game, but then just a variety of different characters too. Going from Marvel v Capcom, having a couple of characters here to having at the time. I mean, granted, this was like 5 years ago, 5.5 years ago, to having a bunch of different variety of characters, and one thing led to another, and having a fairly decent time, I'd say. And then Thronebreaker came out, and that actually worked out pretty okay. I already had a rank 3 previously, and so for me it was I lucked out just being in a position for it. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, you said you've been playing for almost 5.5 years now?
Yeah, I think at this point it's closer to 6,
Oh, wow.
because it's May already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So about 6 years.
Okay, cool.
Good lord.
Do you remember your first 4, 5, and/or 6 stars champions?
My first, I don't know if it was my first 4-star, but one of my first 4 stars was Red Magneto. I think he had just barely been added to the crystal, and then spun one out and got a 4-star mags, and I was pretty happy about that. 5-star, I had awful luck. My first couple of 5 stars were OG Storm and Magic, and that was before Magic got the buff. So she was essentially like, I don't know, Iron Patriot by today's standards.
Okay.
So I was running with a couple of memes, and Labyrinth was just right around the corner, and wanted to pull the Star Lord and didn't get Star Lord. And then first 6-star, funnily enough, not so much. I remember Cable was the third because I got him out of a featured. I think OG Storm was one of the first 6, and then I think Wasp was number 4. But yeah, I don't remember the first 6.
Okay. We'll move on to how are you feeling about these new event quests? The Cavalier, and who are some of the toughest bosses so far?
So for the monthly quests, I think it's pretty okay. I appreciate that they're kind of, I mean, they were moving away from the 4-star challenge, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. It kind of felt like a gotcha mechanic. Challenging in some parts, but gotcha mechanic in others. A good challenge and a gotcha mechanic. For the way it is right now, especially this month, and then when they keep rotating the different class boosts, I'm actually kind of digging it. It's a good level of challenging, where it's something that I need to focus on and pay attention to, but it isn't something that I'm going to chuck my phone across the room and rage quit over. So it's like that nice happy medium where it's like, if you've got the couple of right characters and you play smart around the node, you're just gonna melt through some enemies and have a good time.
Okay. So Shang-Chi and Spider-Man, I think, have been two of the toughest bosses in the EQ so far. Who are your counters for them?
So I have not done Shang-Chi yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm like a goldfish with some of these. It's like I start one and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go gangbusters on that, and then like the next thing comes out, and it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna jump over that. And then, like with Karina's, right? It's like, hey, Karina's came out, cool, I'm gonna do that, and then jump back over, do a little bit of variance. So I haven't done a completion, haven't gotten to a Shang-Chi or Mr. Negative yet at a Cav level, but Spider-Man I wound up getting through. He was challenging. I think the ability accuracy increase to push past the 100% is, I don't know. It's towing the line between being a fair challenge and an annoying challenge, because even if you have a great counter, right? So I went in first with Falcon, right? Get Falcon with the lock on, but it's 100% ability accuracy reduction. And then he's boosted past that by, I don't know, 40% or whatever it is. So he still does evade. So I was just playing it like a regular Spider-Man fight from there. But that's me coming from the position of having a couple of solid Spidey counters. Like if I was going in with just a regular, a non-Spidey counter, I think I'd have a different opinion of that, and that's why I'm saying it's towing a line. It's like it's fair if you've got the champs for it, but you're not gonna have a good time if you don't.
Right. Okay. So the challenges for the side quests, the rings. Have you done any of them, and have you gotten the shards for them yet?
I did. I streamed the Loki challenge just last night, and that was the first one I've done. I'm probably going to do a couple more, maybe a couple more of the Act 5, Act 6 ones. The Labyrinth ones I'm not going to touch for a while, not till after 7.2 comes out. But it was okay. It's okay. I like the direction overall of the challenge. The Labyrinth ones, again, I don't know if they're going to be... I don't think hard is the right word. Annoying really is more of a phrase for it. Just because you have counters for them now and you know how to counter them. Whereas like when it first came out, it was like, yeah, we're just gonna throw whatever we got at it because counters for this stuff don't exist yet. But now it's like, dude, I wish I could just bring, so and so. I wish I could bring, somebody to shut down Magic's Limbo or a power control or this, that, or the other. But now it's like, yep, nope, Star-Lord, you're gonna do it and you're gonna like it. So I'm like, I'll just hold off on that. But the Loki one, again, was pretty okay. It was pretty okay. I had a pretty good time with that.
Did you do it all in one run through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it took me about an hour 20 playing okay-ish.
All right.
I wound up filing that on the playlist fighting, but poorly. It's a fun thing I like to do because like you see on YouTube, right? You've got players who are absolutely phenomenal. Your MSDs up there. I mean, Barrowman is fantastically skilled too. Taters for the content he puts out. Like you see people out there who have like these amazing one shots of just like the complete mastery of the game, and then there's the stuff that I put out where it's like, yeah, it's like that, but not as great. So that's the playlist I do. It's
okay.
For me, it's like a more, I don't want to say it's the best that I can do. It's not a stunning one shot. It's a more realistic take. Just it's fighting, but a little poorly. That's all.
But you did manage to take a 2-star Ronin into a what is that, the Venom
Variant
fight.
7. Yeah, the Venom 7 fight.
And that took you how long?
That was about 4.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Dang.
Yeah, that was a trip right there. That was a trip.
Yeah. How many hits did it take?
Oh, good Lord. 14,000 odd some.
Jeez.
Off the top of my head. Wow. Yeah, it was a gauntlet.
So
but
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say after I got past the first hour and a half, then it was I got a rhythm going and it was pretty smooth sailing. And after the 50% health marker, it was downhill from there. And It's like, oh yeah, hey, 4 hours has gone by now. I can't feel my hand. It's I think it's turning blue, but hey, we got him down.
All right. Yeah. So, with your content, you did post I watched a little bit of your Loki stream before we talked, and you mentioned something about a Legends run for the next chapter in Act 7.
Yep.
So what are you preparing for that, and how are you going to go about it?
It's a couple of things. So I'm going through some of the 7-1 fights again that gave me trouble, and just running through that again. Just what I could have done differently. I think having run through 7-1 and gave 7-1 a Legends push was a good baptism of fire, I think, for that. To dust off the cobwebs. I hadn't done a Legends run for probably a year and a half before that. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And then I get going. I'm like, oh, this was not a good idea for me right now. But having that experience then and knowing what to expect, I think getting nerves under control from the start, I think is going to be a big plus going into the 7-2 run. And just having fun with it too at the same time, and then hope for the best. I got some new champs to play around with. We've got the boosts, we've got the units saved up, so it's really just a matter of playing smart, playing aggressive, and then also hoping that the RNG gods shine their face on the run.
Yeah. Okay. So do you do the solo objectives, the Thronebreaker solo objectives?
I do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
About how many of those crystals have you opened, and have you gotten any 5 stars out of them?
I've gotten 2 5 stars. So those are my favorite crystals, by the way. Those are my favorite crystals. The objective ones, right, where it's like either where it ranges from something where it's like, yeah, dex 5 times and you'll get this amazing crystal, or like end a combo with like a light attack. It's like, cool, I can do that. And then the next day it's like finished Labyrinth of Legends 7 times. And it's like, nah, I don't think I will. But those are my favorite kind of crystals, just because the loot pool is fantastic, and more often than not, it's a very reasonable objective. But I've gotten the 5-star twice. I haven't gotten 5-star shards. I haven't gotten the 6-star shard drop or the fully formed tier 5 basic yet. But 5-star, I've been blessed with that one. So that's something. I'll take that.
Yeah. So do you purchase the Sigil or any of the like the unit card deals or anything like that?
I do. The unit card. So I will say this. I mean, everybody has their own. Should approach the game their own way, just based on their own situation, their own budget, and their own finances, right? So I'm never going to say you need to get this, just because that's not realistic for everybody. And certainly, throwing money at a game shouldn't be a requirement to having fun in the game. But that having been said, I mean, it's a $5 a month investment for the unit card with 300% value. So especially for this game, that kind of return on investment for the size of the investment is worth it. And then same's true for the Sigil as well, just because I always wind up going for some of the discounted shards and the unit cost or the units that you wind up getting from the now Thronebreaker quest pay for itself in the first place, and then everything else on top of that is just bonus loot. So both of those work for me, and I'm very happy with it. If people ask if it's something that's worth it, I say yes if you're in the business of throwing some money at a free mobile game. But yeah, those two I think far and away are the best thing that the game has to offer money wise.
Okay, so what do you purchase in the Sigil store?
So I usually wind up getting the 5-star featured I'm still going for Black Bolt. Fingers crossed this month. We'll see if that happens. But then just going from top to bottom. So most of the shards, the premium, the ultimate, the 3-star, the 4-star, 5-star, the 6-star. I don't get the legendary crystal, where it's like 4,000 4-star shards for like an 80% chance at a 4-star.
Yeah, it's a 5,000, I believe.
Oh, 5,000, yeah. And then it's like a 20% out of 5 stars. No, I'm not going to play those odds. But usually wind up holding off on the rank up materials, just depending on, if I have a rank up later on and I need a last minute. Tier 2 class, whatever. Yeah, I have the selector as needed, but otherwise, yeah, most everything winds up getting purchased. That always wind up buying the pots. Never wind up using them. The 10,000 gold a pop pot, just in case. Maybe one of these months it'll come in handy.
Okay. So, is there any other like deals that stand out to you that you have paid, that you've bought?
I got the Red Pool ones when I first signed up for the game. So that's like a 6-year ago thing. But like, I got the Red Pool ones where it's like, hey, spend $1, get a 2-star red or a 3-star Red Pool. No, 2-star Red Pool. Spend $5 and you get a 3-star Red Pool. I'm like, I just got this game. A 3-star is amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I got that and then thought nothing more of it. And then, fast forward to today, we haven't seen Red Pool in game in any capacity for over 3 years. So it's like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Jay, actually got anything over there?
Brooke actually just rated the live stream, so I want to say thank you. He's got 10 viewers who came over.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Yeah, so so you just talked about Deadpool. Is Deadpool something you would like to see? Obviously, would you like to see more 4 and 5-star? And what would you like to see from? Do you think he should stay a deal champion?
No, because they've already broken that embargo, not embargo, but shattered that ceiling by having the 4-star available in arena. So that was the last time that Red Pool was available. Is that if you wound up getting or having 2 or 3-star Red Pool already, then you would have a ticket to get into the 4-star arena to grind out, and it's like the top 300 prizes or something like that. So I mean, they've already set that precedent, and I think that next time that he comes back, I would like to see him in arena as a grindable champ with a new 5-star variety as like the chase prize. I have a feeling that they would probably wind up offering him again for some amount of currency, just because that's how he was introduced originally. But if he is in arena, I'm 100% going to go for him.
That's awesome, man. So, are you CCP?
I am.
What would you like to see improve from the CCP? Is there something that you would like to see either updated or more communication or something like that you'd want to be passionate about saying?
No. I overall, I'm really happy with being in the CCP and the communication in the CCP server. So I'm a more recent addition. I think I actually was in the last class that got added. Me and Kingslayer got added the exact same day, which is pretty cool.
When was that?
Last year sometime. Mid last year, I think.
Okay. Yeah. There's a couple things like everyone's up. A lot of people haven't been. The CCP is kind of weird right now when people are admitting stuff and trying to get stuff back and saying, "Hey, are we accepted or not?" So we were actually curious on when were the last people who actually got added to the CCP. So thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm not sure as to why that is. I remember there was a conversation right after we got added. That's right around the time when everything kind of hit the fan. which was right before we got that initial dev diary with the retuning. That's when Arena broke because they did away with the infinite streak formula. So what they were saying then, and I don't know if it's still the official position, but it's the last that I had heard about that, is that just because everything was crazy and they were working to rectify that for the first round of dev diary, what became the dev diary, they were kind of holding off on that, or just like putting a pin in it. But I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I know there are a lot of my friends who have either applied or in a position where they've applied a number of times, and I really hope and really want to see them there. So I'm sure Kabam has the reasons behind the scenes, but I don't know anything about that.
That's all good, man. I was just curious on when actually the last people were added, but yeah. Hopefully we'll get some answers. I'm sure, Thal and the team that runs that will get some answers eventually.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, so obviously speaking of the dev diary, we finally got 7.2 with the Gwen Master.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure you'll have some cheese videos coming out with her.
Yeah, expect the 2-star Ronin cheese. It's gonna take me 7 hours and like 21,000 hits or something crazy like that.
100,000 hits.
Yeah.
What would you like to see from this fight? I don't think we don't know exactly how the fight's going to go down, but what is kind of something you would like to see from fighting her?
I would like to be surprised. I'm kind of afraid of is that it's going to be a copy pasta of the original Grandmaster fight, where it's like, this is his first form, and now you've got 3 different prompts, and you got to do the prompts, or 4 different prompts. You got to do it in the exact right order, and then he's going to be stunned, and then you can hit him, and then he's got the 1%, and then you launch the special 3, and it's like, cool, and that's how you do it. I'm almost okay for just about anything, just so long as it's interesting take on all of that, and it's not, again, a direct copy paste. Or it's like the exact same thing, but then instead of like a special 3 to KO, you got to like, I don't know, do some razzle dazzle, like, I don't know, Street Fighter combo, up, down, left, right, A, B, something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, we're going to find out in a couple of weeks. Hopefully we're going to find out what the prizes are before that. And then we'll see if there is a change to the Legend and the Mythic run for that too.
Yeah, man. Okay, so one of the things that we haven't seen anything on is the Sigil Witch, the Scarlet Witch that we.
Yeah. She's
not playable in the game. And I was kind of curious on what you think. I think MST said that he was thinking Summer of Pain. She was going to be exclusive to that. But it looks like nothing about that is going to happen. So I was curious what we'd like to either see where she could come from. Maybe like what would you like to see? I mean, you already said that Deadpool should be an arena champ. Is that something you'd like to see with Sigil Witch?
Yes. Yeah, okay. Ideally, I'd like Sigil Witch to be just a regular monthly playable champ. You get like a free 2-star for the Marvel Insider, and then you can grind for her, or pop crystals if that's your poison. And she's just a regular character. What I suspect she may wind up being, though, is an exclusive in some capacity. I was speculating originally that she'd be tied with the Sigil itself. As like, hey, you get the Sigil, and you're a Sigil member for X amount of months or whatever, and then hey, you get the character, or it's like, cool, now you got the 4-star version, now be a member for another couple months, and now you get the 5-star version, something like that. What I would not be happy to see is if she winds up being like the Mythic prize for 7-2. Or for like a Karina's challenge, you get that Loki cheese profile pick if you get everything done in 30 days. Well, you do that 3 times for Karina's challenge, 1, 2, 3, however many there are. It's like, hey, you do that 3 times in a row, and you have the 3 different tokens, and that's how you wind up unlocking her. That could be interesting, but because they haven't pitched that idea already, and the timer's already taken, I would not be happy if that's what it winds up being. We'll have to see, though. What do you guys think?
I want to see her obviously playable. Mr. King and I, we love making like theory videos, theory crafting, and all that. And I think it was leaked. It basically a leaked event coming out in June. It's called the Overseer and Purgatory. And so, kind of, Mr. King kind of thought about like maybe if this new Wanda is gonna be like WandaVision, where she kind of like, what if the battle realm becomes like her purgatory, and then like she has like an event with herself and maybe Wiccan, her son, and then obviously with Mephisto and the Watcher. So it could totally an event could happen with her, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to see, and maybe just become a playable. As you said, come in with as the rest of the regular champions every month with her and being
fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff like theorizing.
Yeah. Well, and then especially too how that's going to wind up tying in with like the overarching story, because I mean supposedly what Galactus is supposed to be coming in game eventually, and then whatever that crazy bonkers dragon was from the 6-year anniversary video in December. It was like the new Nega boss or whatever.
Yeah, we have like me and Mr. King call him the big three: Galactus, Chrono Serpent, and then Mr. New King. So
yeah.
So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff coming to the game. I think Galactus, it won't be playable. He'll be like a little like, I think what Caban gave. I was watching the video of him talking about the 4-year anniversary trailer or 5-year anniversary trailer, and he basically was saying, "Hey, think of Galactus like a natural disaster, right? There's nothing you can do about it. You can't fight a natural disaster, right? So I think it's going to be an event that'll just happen, affect Marvel Realm of Champions, and then that'll just overlap with the story as well, with the Chrono Serpent being the even bigger boss, for sure. Yeah. So do you play Marvel Realm of Champions at all?
I don't. I downloaded it and I played a couple days, week 1. I was like, hey, this is nice. And then I was like, okay, I gotta get some of my stuff going for contest, and then just didn't wind up picking it back up. So I've heard good things about the latest patch. So maybe I'll dive back into it again soonish. But I've been spending a bit of time in Mirrorverse instead.
Nice, man. I want to so bad. The game sounds awesome. Looks awesome. I kind of like wish MCoC was more like that game than it is. But yeah, the new MCoC event is so cool. I mean, if you like the story of the contest, it more of like MCoC basically has like this battle pass of sorts where you're earning XP in game, and then you're actually getting clues to figure out who killed the Maestro. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool when you get a bunch of cutscenes. I've been uploading. I uploaded the first one to my channel, and I'm start making some MCoC content because obviously these stories are they're gonna like I said, they're gonna lead up to either Galactus or the Chrono Serpent, whatever comes first in the next crossover event. So I want to keep everyone informed.
Yeah. Speaking of crossovers, there was a lot of talk. Sorry, I
go for it, man.
Now. But like there was a lot of talk when Jabari and then Centrum Silver got added. But like if it was a cool thing to have a crossover event, and Storm X and then Supreme wound up growing on the contest crowd, but Silver Centurion not as much, and I think people have warmed up to Jabari Panther. I'm not sure. I've always been a fan, but I know there's a lot of talk about crossover. Is that something that, especially as a player of Realm, is that something that you like to see, or?
Yeah, I mean, I specifically, I'm not even like I play MCoC like once a day, so I'm not like the biggest fan of the game, but it's more or less a story of the game. When it comes to the MCoC characters come from Battle World, and what happened when Storm and Source Supreme, they came to the game. It's like they came to the game to figure out information on the Chrono Serpent, and then a year later we get these two characters who are brought to the Battle Realm by Mephisto to have a tournament to test the summoner if he can work with both the MCoC characters and the MCoC characters to figure out how to survive and defeat the Chrono Serpent. So I'm all for it. These are like some of the biggest. Not every month in the contest is like a big story event, and usually these MCoC events are big story events, so I'm all for it. I really like them. And then Jabari Panther, for sure, I saw a lot of people were like, these characters suck. Why are we getting these characters? Why don't we get these characters? And then like 2 weeks later, like everyone's grinding for them in the arena. So
yeah,
it is what it is. But I like it.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping they get more crossover events like that, because not only is it, I think, healthy for both games, but then also for the for the overall story as well. I know the story gets panned periodically for the monthly quest, and I certainly have been. I'm not gonna say I've been guilty of that, but I like calling out the tried and true tropes, like for example, right? We got this month with Mr. Negative and then Shang-Chi. It's like, okay, well now you're gonna go fight Shang-Chi, but you never fight Shang-Chi as like, hey, Shang-Chi is just over there. Let's go fight him. It's like, no, he's under the spell of somebody, or like this is the evil version. It's like we gotta fight the evil version to break the spell, and then they become a hero again. Like Odin last month, right? You gotta fight evil Odin, and it's like, okay, well that's nice. Or evil Human Torch. And it's like, well, all right, well, how about something a little bit different? But yeah, I forgot where I was going with that. But yeah, I mean the story is okay. And it's really cool to see when the story crosses over and there's a bit more of a, oh hey, there's an expanded universe. I always dig stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I wasn't a big fan of the Odin event. It did not explain anything. There was like no story to it. And then this month Shang-Chi and Mr. Negative. I would say it's kind of cliche. Like kind of you said, Shang-Chi is under the spell, so it's basically what happens. Little spoiler there. If you want to, I have a stream where I write all the dialogue, so if anyone wants to check it out, you can check it out on my YouTube channel. But yeah, man. So do you pay attention to all the story of the game, compared to do you read the dialogue?
I do. The first pass of the monthly quest I always do on a lower difficulty, just because I don't care about the fight. I just want to get from dialogue to dialogue, and periodically the dialogue is solid. The Deadpool event recently was pretty good, and then especially this is from last year, Gwenpool Goes to the Movies. Like whoever was writing Gwenpool there was like top notch for the game here, like the best that the game has offered so far. So occasionally you wind up getting a pretty good one-liner, pretty good zinger, but yeah, after that initial playthrough, then it's just skip, cool, got it. Yeah,
man, I do the same. I actually have this. I have this whole list of I've read through all the game's dialogue, and I made this whole list of characters who have been teased through dialogue or whatnot, like social media posts and whatnot. So it's definitely, the Deadpool events are definitely my favorite. They're just hilarious. Gwenpool Goes to the Movie. Oh my goodness, it was so funny. There's a lot of cool stuff in the game. Definitely, those are the shining characters. Oh,
go ahead.
I'll let you finish.
I was going to say, I would love to do that, but that just hurts so much because I'm still waiting for champs like Jessica Jones or Iron Spider, champs like that have made actual physical appearances, but they're just on the back burner someplace.
Yeah, so I guess I get this question a lot about these non-playable characters. And so for Jessica Jones specifically, Kabam Gabe has said that she's not as flash. She's just a punch kid character. She's not really flashy. That's why she's not playable. She just fits that detective role, like Howard the Duck.
Yeah.
As for the other non-playable characters like Wolverine X-Force, Scarlet Witch Ultimate, Doctor Strange, Marvel Now, those are basically skins. If you didn't know, Ultron Latron is just a skin for the Ultron Prime or Ultron MCU. So basically what happens is that if we do get these characters, they're going to be trophy champs, because I was listening to the Unofficial Marvel Champions podcast number 68.5, and he basically said if we're going to introduce these characters, they'll be trophy champs, just like Labtron, just like Weapon X. So that's why Sigil, which hopefully is not a trophy champ, as you said. I don't want to see a mythic stuff like that, but I'd bring that up.
Yeah. I definitely think there's a place for trophy champs, and I will give Kabam kudos in incentivizing people to go for trophy champs by making trophy champs better. Weapon X Diaper Man, right, is fantastic. He's an absolute tank ramped up. Goldpool is fantastic for synergies. He's the far and away the best, Nick Fury option for that that shrug, debuff shrug at the start of the fight. And then Platinum Pool he's fun. He's a bit chaotic, but he's fun. A lot better than, like you're saying, like Loltron, where it is basically a copy pasta with he's hitting that this is the one that has poison now instead of bleed. It's cool. That's not very helpful, but that's nice. But we'll see. We'll see. I would be okay with it even if they aren't great, just because it's extra arena fodder. and something else to grind for.
Yeah, man. Fair enough. So obviously bringing up Lavtron, did you see Voltron? Sorry, not Voltron. Vulture's buffs talking about maybe we seeing future buffs with the Ultron MCU. I forgot who the other two characters off the top of my head.
Yeah, well, they were
Sentry
flip flopping. So the last time I checked, I wound up doing a video
Yeah.
on that too. But they were flip flopping because on the website, on the news page, it was teasing was that Ebony Maw.
Yes.
But then on the kit in game, it still says Sentry. So in one of those places, it's either teasing a fourth rework, or they're like, nah, we're not going to wind up doing this guy after all. And then War Machine was the last one.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, what would you like to see? Would you want to see these obviously being the 3 buffs we get next month?
I'd be okay for that. I mean, I've got different dogs or different champs, and I would like to see with a more immediate rework, just because of who I have in my roster. But those 3 definitely are more than worthy of it. War Machine, I think, would have to be a top to bottom rework, just because there's very little to his kit already, save for that last little gusto he gets with all those armors and all those furies at the very end. He's a very vanilla champ. Yeah, exactly. So that would almost have to be like a rework top to bottom. Give him something like a new gimmick, especially to make him different than all the other Iron Men. Sentry, I think, is like 75% there. But they got to kind of figure out what they want to do with Sentry. I think the idea of Sentry is okay. To lose the RNG aspect of losing an entire quest's worth of progress. And then plus 2, if you have to keep cycling through his different phases and have RNG to trigger those phases in the first place, then the phases, if you do get them, need to be stellar, and right now they're not. So
Okay, so who do you think?
We'll have to see about that.
Who do you think had the best buff so far this year?
Oh, this year?
Yeah.
I'll get the calendar up real quick.
That's tough. I would have to say it's a tie probably between Angela and Kingpin. For similar reasons, actually, just because both of them can shrug debuffs like it's nobody's business. I would probably have to give the edge to... I would say Angela, personally, just because... it's a super biased opinion. Because I personally have other guild champions that can do what Kingpin does already, but not cosmic champions that can do what Angela does post buff. But she's just so much fun to play, and I have a long history with the character dating back to the Spawn days, so it's cool to see her have renewed relevancy in the game that I'm still playing now.
Okay. So who's your favorite champion right now?
Still Elsa.
Elsa?
Still Elsa.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a reason why Elsa's your favorite?
Well, to me, she's the most... She still is a heck of a lot of fun to play. I will give kudos to Kabam that the last year have seen an immense amount of champions come out who are not only fun to play, but also ridiculously useful. Just coming off the top of my head, Spider-Ham, Dragon Man, and now Shang-Chi. So I will say that those guys are really right up there in the running for fun factor. But, I mean, for Elsa, the fact that she has a completely different playstyle depending whether you're running damage masteries or not, she can wind up bypassing a lot of annoying nodes. She can shrug off the non-damaging debuffs, or is the first to shrug off non-damaging debuffs. Her evasion mechanic's a lot of fun. I'd really dig the stacking debuffs and then non-traditional skill debuffs at that. And just tied together with the fluidity of her animations just makes chaining combos together really satisfying.
Nice. Okay. So, did you see Hercules the new animations, and what did you think about them?
I did. I appreciate the piecemeal approach that they're taking to slowly build up hype for the champion. I wound up voting Hercules originally. Who did you guys wind up voting for?
I voted for Hercules.
Yeah, same.
Nice. So for me, like, it's still so much up in the air because they gave us nothing to go on when the vote was up originally. But the one part that caught my attention was that it's a skill-based cosmic champion, and I love champions like that. It's one of the reasons I'm so excited for Shang-Chi, is because you're rewarded based on the skill of how you play the character. I really dig it's like the possibility and potential for what that could even mean. Again, just using the most recent champ as the example, is like you do a combo this way: medium, 3 lights, and the medium you get this, double medium you get that. What if you apply that to a cosmic champion? It's like, okay, you get an armor break, now you get a precision, now you get a fury. You can start stacking a bunch of buffs, have a lot of fun with that way. So I was really excited to see how that would wind up playing out, and fingers crossed that it winds up all coming together in the end.
Yeah. So first thought, what did you think of his animations?
Quality, top quality. It's what I've come to. I don't want to say it's what I've come to expect, but it's what I've come to expect for a 2021 MCoC champion, where they're having a lot more fun with it. They're making the animations very character specific, and then not being afraid to throw some extra pizzazz and personality on top of it too. I don't know how the depths of work that they do behind the scenes to make this all optimized, with everybody having big fancy razzle dazzle bits, but yeah, it looks clean. It looks clean. It looks like it could be fun, and final test is going to see how it winds up playing in real situations. But yeah, I'm pretty sold so far.
Yeah, same, dude. I'm pretty excited to get this champion in my hands. So is there a champion that you're looking for that you haven't gotten yet?
Shang-Chi now, definitely. I will be getting the 5-star at the very least in Arena. I'll try it for the 6. We'll see how that goes. I'm a little afraid for the cutoff. But outside of that, I would really like to get my Tigra Awakened. I've got the 6-star already, so it's kind of like a half answer to your question. I've got the 6-star already, but I'm hoping to get her Awakened, just because her Awakened ability really goes the distance in like speeding up her ramp up, and then that in turn changes up her play style a little bit. So I would probably go with that, a Tigra Awakening.
All right, Jax, you got anything else over there?
Yeah, man. So can we expect some more Bob Ross videos from you?
Yes, 100% yes. I've already started penning a couple of different scripts together for some upcoming champions, having a little bit of fun with it. It was a really fun off the cuff idea that I had just with Silver Centurion, and it was very, very well received too. So it's great. It's the perfect combination of something that I had a lot of fun doing, and then also something that people had a lot of fun watching. So yes. Long story short, yes.
That's awesome, and I loved it. It was hilarious.
Cheers.
So what's one character you'd like to add to the game?
Bullseye.
Ooh, okay.
Definitely Bullseye. So it's okay. So it's talking a little bit out of school with some of the stuff that I spam. I don't spam, but I kind of spam on the CCP server, is like really amping up the Defenders and the Defender synergy.
Oh,
So
yes.
Daredevil is my favorite Marvel character. He has been for years and years and years. The Netflix show came out, and I was over the moon playing this game. They added both classic Daredevil, who was my favorite 4-star to play, and then Netflix Daredevil, who was a character in the game. They wound up buffing Daredevil Hell's Kitchen. He is still a character who is in the game. But there isn't really anything that they do very well together. There's a little bit of love between She-Hulk and Luke Cage, and maybe throw in Iron Fist and Daredevil here and there. But the synergy is very blasé, and the characters themselves still are kind of like also there. Throw in Elektra too, but I figure if they need like a linchpin character. And I'm hoping that maybe Bullseye could potentially do that. Again, this is like probably the 7th time I've said this in this interview, so I apologize for just being repetitive. Shang-Chi does have synergies with all those characters, which is another reason I'm excited for him. But just to tie it all together, and I think Bullseye as like the second major Daredevil villain in the contest could be a lot of fun. I think his mechanic as a sharpshooter, I think could be a lot of fun to play. Throw in a lot of True Strike and stuff like that too for anti-Spidey evade characters could be fun. And I've pitched some ideas for how they could buff Elektra and stuff too. So we'll see how any of that plays out. I think there's a lot of me just like old man waving his fist at the clouds, but it's fun.
Yeah, man. So obviously, speaking of Bullseye, have you actually read the MCoC comics?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. I know like of like the a light loose gist of it, where Iron Patriot winds up being the top Don and having some fun with that. But I haven't gotten into the weeds of the run.
Okay. Well, so it's not tied to the game actually. It's actually tied to the Earth 616. But one of the characters in the actual contest is actually Elektra, but she's actually Bullseye. So
interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I was gonna bring up. So obviously, yeah. So you can have a synergy, of course, with so Elektra and Bullseye. Obviously, since she's Bullseye in the comics, and the actually Elektra we got in the game is basically, obviously it's like the same Elektra, just red. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up if you knew about that.
Yeah. Or actually, who would be a great combo with Bullseye if they wound up adopting the Daredevil Elektra.
Yeah, man.
Because that costume is sick, and I would love to see what they do with that in game here. So that would be a lot of fun as like a monthly duo right there.
Yeah. Okay. That would be super cool.
Because then you would have like the cross synergies already anyway. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, Bullseye kind of, killed Elektra, but she's still here because comics. And throw a couple of cross synergies that way and branch out to everybody else. I would be all for that.
Yeah. So who are some of the champions that you don't like fighting against?
Gilly 99.
Okay.
Used to be Nick Fury. Still is a little bit, but Gilly 99. Doom, if I'm using a champion that's a crit heavy champion, that's always annoying.
All right.
Yeah, mostly those two, especially in arenas.
Do you do War and AQ?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Who do you normally bring into War with you?
So for War, I end up running Path 1. So that is usually a combination of Doom, Torch, throw in Omega and Saberman as a duo sometimes. Warlock, if I hadn't said that already. And then sometimes Magneto, either of them.
Okay.
But usually the combination of those guys are enough to handle that. Path 1 is a lot of regen. It's a lot of regen. It's a lot of masochism. It's and then the shared nodes are a lot of the combo specific stuff where you've got four light attacks, 4 medium attacks, and 2 heavy attacks. And if you expend all of those without throwing a special, then you're heavily penalized. So, winds up working out.
Okay. What map do you run in AQ?
Map 7.
Okay. Who do you bring with you, and what paths do you run?
I usually wind up doing usually a combination of Corvus with Proxima for the glancing. That's what path 1 in section 1, and then Gilly 99 because there's always nodes that penalize you for crits, in addition to just the daily modifier as well. So Gilly's great for that. And then elsewise, used to wind up running at Red Guardian for forget if it's Little League or Major League. But there's always a Dormammu on the path, and Red Guardian just absolutely melts him. So usually that's. But then I've gotten a lot of use out of Claire and combination of Dr. Voodoo and I-Bomb for the poison path, also in section 1, and then using them for sections 2 and 3 as well. But AQ I always have a lot more fun with than AW.
Are you a boss killer?
Not in this iteration. Not so much in this. Well, no, I take that back. A boss killer, yes. A mini, not as much. Okay. So, I have yet to go for a full solo on APOC, but I at least usually once a cycle I get an APOC from like 70% health down to a KO. But back when it was Omega Red, which was a couple of cycles ago, then yeah, I got to be the go-to boss killer with a Darkhawk, and that was always a lot of fun.
Okay, cool. Jax, you got anything else over there?
Yeah, man. So what's one character you'd like to see buffed?
Elektra.
Okay.
Definitely. Just because I think she's heavily underutilized, and I think there's a lot of fun stuff they could do with her. Just playing up some of the stealth and the assassin's training and have some fun with that.
Awesome, man. I'm guessing you do, but do you catch up with the MCU? And how would you like the MCU to interact with the contest?
Yeah, so I'm all caught up with WandaVision, with Falcon, Winter Soldier. I would like to see there be more crossover between the MCU and the game. Just it's always fun getting, MCU characters or even back when it was Netflix as a separate entity, Netflix characters into the game. Again, just because the cross promotion I think is really healthy for the game and healthy for the brand too. But especially with 2020 being the way it was, I can understand the immense frustration that the devs must feel. Just look at like White Widow and Red Guardian, right? They came out in April of last year, and that movie still hasn't been released. So, like, coordinating with Marvel and the execs on like when they can release champs must be a nightmare development-wise. So, if they can work it out, I'd be all for it.
Yeah, man. So we had like this weird thing where we had Shang-Chi come to the game, be the comic version. We had Scarlet Witch come to the game. I mean, she's not playable, but she came to the game and she's the comic version as well. And so like most of the community thought like, hey, maybe Kabam don't have this 9-month in advance design. Like they don't have the designs they usually get. But actually, like literally 2 days ago, Gabriel Fazera actually says we Kabam do have access to the MCU designs. So I think this is just like heavily like teasing the Eternals coming at the end of the year.
Yeah, that would be something. I would be actually really surprised if they don't get a playable Angelina Jolie in game.
Yeah, I was. There's a lot of Eternals But there's only 2 spots on the State of the Battle Realm map, and so like I've kind of predicted that it's probably going to be Black Knight and maybe Cersei, because all the other Eternals basically have the same exact powers. So I was curious on what you would like to see from the Eternals.
I'll defer on that. It's starting to get to the point with some of the expanded MCU stuff where I'm not as familiar with the lore of the characters outside of the periodic team ups. And Eternals are one of them. I know of them, and it was kind of like the Inhumans too when that show came out. And I know Black Bolt, I know Medusa. Karnak is kind of a new bit for me, but I get the history of the Inhumans and how they're different from the mutants and their drama. But Eternals are kind of the same way too. So it's like going into a story with a completely fresh slate to just enjoy it for whatever this take on the characters are.
Yeah, especially since the MCU too, they like to adapt stuff and kind of change things around. So I'm very, very excited. We even got the first teaser trailer just a week ago. So yeah, it's looking good.
Who would you guys like to see added to the game? It could be anybody from the MCU to the comics to to anybody.
If anyone watches me, they know who I'm going to say. My favorite character in the comics is Legion. He's the son of Professor X, and by far the most powerful mutant of all time. And I would just die for him to come to the game. He even was teased all the way back when Bishop came to the game on like the Days of Future Past loading screen where it showed his name.
Yeah.
That's my most wanted character.
It'd be cool to get like multiple man or something like that. Just have
that could be fun.
Just all the way around the screen.
Yeah, that could actually be a lot of fun. I don't
know. Yeah, I've never really thought too much about it, but yeah, multiple man would definitely be pretty cool.
What do you think what do you guys think the odds are of us getting someone who has like solid name recognition, like Legion or even multiple man too, right? As opposed to like, hey, this month is going to be a duo of Stiltman and Frogman.
Well, there is a State of Battle Realm, and I actually just updated it 2 days ago. That's kind of here are my predictions to see on the screen. But we know there is a mutant event coming out this month, so I definitely think Kitty Pryde is coming out this year. Probably in August, September. That's usually where the mutant event comes out. Like, if you check the past couple of years, it's always August, September. So I think in Kitty Pryde, it's going to be a big name. Spider-Man 29 is going to be a big name. I feel like Null is going to be another big name as well. I feel like those are just going to be the top big names this year.
Yeah. I'd be down for that, and then just to see whatever kit they wind up giving the champs. Hopefully it's along the lines of like a Strife Professor X APOC kit as opposed to, a Sentry kit,
Shocker would be pretty cool to see. Big quilt man.
Yeah, we definitely need some more Spider-Man villains. Like Mr. Negative is cool, and I guess he's technically a Spider-Man villain now, but just some more of the classic villains too. Shocker would be fantastic.
Scorpion or
Kraven.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although I got a big dog in the fight though for Kraven, because I would hope that he'd have a synergy with Tigra, with Elsa, and kind of boost some of my favorite champs too.
Oh yeah, especially Elsa. There's definitely gonna be a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think Kabam Gabe actually said like specifically his favorite Spider-Man villain, Lizard, was the most likely to join earlier than anyone else, and we still haven't seen it yet. So it's kind of curious to see when we'll get another Spider-Man villain.
Yeah, that could be cool.
And even in MCoC right now, there's the Asgardian event, but they tease that the next event's probably going to be a Spider-Man event. So maybe that'll have to correlate with the Spider-Man 29 event coming to the contest.
Here's the hoping.
Yeah.
Well, here's the hoping too that the next crossover we get from MCoC is going to be that I'm not sure of the new War Jane Thor from this month, because their design looks absolutely sick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're talking about the Baron War,
yeah.
War Thor.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess since you don't play, you don't know. Okay. So
yeah.
She's a Baron basically. So she runs these Guardians. So I think what Kabam Gabe even said, like, it's a possibility she was going to join, But before that, he said that the Baron specifically won't be playable in contest. So, but I mean, Slayer Gods. Okay, he's not here, but he tweeted out and said, "Hey, can we see Warthor come to the game?" And then Kate Frazera said, "Anything's possible." So I mean, who knows? She looks badass. Yeah,
she does. She does. And just based off of the formula that they've got going right now, they still need a Cosmic crossover champ too. They've got everybody else. They've got a skill. They've got a mutant. They've got a tech. They need the Cosmic, but then they have the Mystic as well. So they'd have one of each class, assuming she's Cosmic.
Oh yeah, no, she'd definitely be Cosmic. I don't know if she is Jane Foster or not. They actually haven't explained her stuff, but I'll have to dive into the game after this weekend. I'm still finished up some school stuff.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if she winds up being like Valkyrie or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't got that far either in Realm. Rob, do you have any plugs or anything like that you want to share?
I could have a couple. So just a couple of shameless plugs of the stream here is that for everybody listening, cheers everybody. I wind up live streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So tomorrow, as of this recording, or each Sunday, depending on when you guys are listening to the interview here, it's the cereal stream. By far and away my favorite live stream of the week. I pour myself a bowl of cereal, something I haven't eaten since I was a kid, and just chow down and kind of review it just from, the old crotchety point of view that I've got now, and see how it stacks up all these years later while playing some MCoC and punching dudes in the face and having a good time. So that's every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then, usual regular daily uploads too. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Jax, you got anything else over there?
That's it, man. That's all my notes.
All right. I think we're wrapped up then. Everybody, thank you for joining us. And Mother's Day is tomorrow. Make sure you call your moms or your grandmas or your loved ones, whoever took care of you, or your kids.
Amen to that.
Yep.
Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on. It's been a lot of fun, and much appreciated.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for coming by, and hopefully we'll catch you on another episode.
I'm looking forward to it.